This video features the guitar and bass parts that are present during the intro and verses of the song. Tuning used in this video and on the record is E-flat and 440 wavelength calibration. If you are unsure how to tune the E-flat, please watch the video on this channel. E-flat tuning and enharmonic notes for guitar and bass by Marc Tex Wilson, and then return. The main bass riff that carries the song will be 2 full measures long. This will be played during the intro, the verses, and the choruses. The first note is located on the D string at the 5th fret, where you're going to place your 3rd finger. This is a G note. The first 3 notes of the riff will be picked down, down, up. This is 8th note followed by 2 16th notes. You're going to play it choppy or staccato, like this. What you're doing there is accenting tightly with the bass drum. The next 4 notes are going to be played similar to the fill that started the song. The middle finger will go down on the G string at the 4th fret. It'll be picked downwards on 2, followed by a hammer onto the 5th fret, a pull off back to the 4th fret, and then the 3rd finger is going to go down on the D string at the 5th fret, where it will be picked upwards on the A beat. It'll be counted 2 and like this. So far, this is what we have for a riff pattern. At this point, you're going to go to the open D string and play that open string the same way you did the G note that started the riff. It'll be counted 3 and pick down, down, up, and once again, you're accenting with the bass drum. This is what we have so far. To finish out the first measure, you're going to place your middle finger on the D string at the 4th fret. You're going to pick it down on 4, hammer onto the 5th fret, pull off back to the 4th fret, then place that 3rd finger down on the A string at the 5th fret, where it will be picked on the final beat of the measure, an upbeat, the A beat. It'll be counted 4 and And this is the first measure of the riff. With a 4 count, here's how you count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and The second measure of the riff is going to start out by placing the 1st finger on the D string at the 2nd fret. This is an E note. It'll be picked immediately following the 1 beat of the measure. It doesn't matter if you pick it up or down. I prefer to pick it up just to keep in synchrony with my tapping foot. When the foot taps down, I want to pick down. When it comes up, I want to pick up. That'll be followed with the C note on the A string at the 3rd fret. That's going to be picked up following 2. That's going to ring for a 1/4 of a note. And then you're going to pick it downwards on the upbeat following 3. And on the and beat, you're going to pick the open A string. So far, this is what you've got there. Just like that. And. That's how you count it. Then on 4, you're going to put your finger back on that C note, and you're going to pick it down. Then you'll hammer to the 5th fret on the same string with the pinky on the E beat, like this. So this is what the second measure will be. It'll be counted and a 4E. And this is the whole riff pattern that you have with the 4 count lead in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 4E. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 4E. That riff pattern goes on for quite some time, right up until the bridge of the song. The bass will actually signal that by doing an octave for octave slide. When it gets to the C note, it's going to hold it, and then slide up here to this C note on 4. The rhythm guitar part is going to start the song unaccompanied, and then you'll hear the drummer play the open hi-hats with 1/4 note timing. 1, 2, 3. At that point, that signals the bass player to enter the song with the fill. This fill is only going to appear at the beginning of the song, and when the bass does it, the drums are going to tightly double it in feel. The first note is located on the D string at the 5th fret. You're going to pick this down even though it comes on an upbeat. The second note is located a step up in pitch to the 7th fret on the same string. This is going to be produced by the hammering of the pinky with the technique called a hammer-on. Only the first note will be picked. This is what you're going to have. And the count is Anna. Just like that. The next note is located on the G string at the 4th fret. That's going to be picked downwards on the 4th beat of the measure. Followed by a hammer-on to the 5th fret, then a pull-off back to the 4th fret. Then the last note of the fill is the very last note of the measure. It's on the D string at the 5th fret and will be picked upwards on the A beat. So this is what your fill is going to be. Just like that. And it's counted in a four-anna. One thing that I like to do different, I'm pretty much a note for note kind of guy, but every once in a great while I will put a little spin on it. But this is really mild. I don't like ending it on this G note right here. I'd rather end it on a note located a step up in pitch on the same string to the 7th fret like this. Now the reason I'd rather end it there is because the main riff starts out on the G note located here, and I'd rather end the fill on a different note than go back to the note that it starts out on. There's nothing wrong with ending the fill on that note and then starting the main rhythm on it. I just think this sounds better. Let's play through this entire process one time just to make sure you understand what's going on. But let's shorten the main riff to about 4 passes through before we do the slide from the C note located on the A string to 3rd fret up an octave to the C note located on the 15th fret to signal the change in the music, which would be the bridge of the song. Remember that we're starting out on a 3 count, so we're going to enter on the upbeat right after 3. I'm going to count this aloud, and the bass will be kind of choppy because my concentration's being split 2 ways. If I wasn't counting, I'd be smooth. So please bear with me. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a and a 4, 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 4, 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 4, 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and unless you're a really good looking dude or dudette, a good showman, and or contribute as an additional vocalist, you will usually not be noticed for a job well done just by playing bass alone. However, you will certainly be noticed if you don't do your job well. Every once in a while you will get a part like this that is both fun and flashy. Remember that less is more. On the rare occasion that you get to play a part like this, people will notice it more, and for the right reason. Just like the bass guitar, the main riff on the guitar is going to be 2 full measures long. It's going to start out on a G5 power chord located on the with your first finger on the low E string at the 3rd fret like that. That's your root note. Then the perfect 5th is located on the A string at the 5th fret where you're going to place your 3rd finger. Let me play the riff pattern one time just so you can see what it looks like. Then I'll try to talk you through it piece by piece until you have it. Okay, we started out here on the G5, and you notice that the first 2 notes were 8th notes. We picked it down, both beats, and there's a slight palm mute. The heel of the hands resting on the saddle pieces of the bridge of the guitar, right where the strings meet the saddle pieces, just to deaden it a little. That'll be counted 1 and on 2, you're going to pull your hand off the saddle pieces to let it ring out as you're placing your pinky down on the 5th fret of the D string on 2. This is what you have so far. Let's count 1 and 2. Okay, after 2, you're going to do 2 16th notes counted Anna. They're going to be on the open E and A strings. You're going to palm mute those. This is what you're going to have. Just like that. 1 and 2 Anna. That's how that's counted. Let me do that again. And notice at the end when I'm hitting the 2 open strings, the open A and E, that I'm repositioning my hand as I'm hitting them open. I'm taking advantage of that to go to the D5 power chord located right here with the first finger on the A string at the 5th fret and the 3rd finger on the D string at the 7th fret. Right from the start, here's a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, notice that when I got to the D5 power chord, I played that exactly the same way I did the G5 power chord. 2 palm muted downstrokes, and on the 4 beat, I pulled my hand off the saddle piece and put my pinky down on the G string right at the 7th fret, like this. And once again, that's on the 4 beat. I'll pull my hand off and I'll pick the open E and A strings on the Anna beats. 2 16th notes, slightly palm muted. That's actually the first measure of the riff. Let's go through that once. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. Just like that. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. Okay, notice that once again I'm repositioning the hand as I'm hitting the open E and A strings on the 2 16th notes. Right here is an E5 power chord. The first finger is on the A string at the 7th fret. The 3rd finger is on the D string at the 9th fret. This is actually the first note of the 2nd measure of the riff. You'll play these 2 strings with a downward picking motion on 1, and you're going to follow that on the hand beat by placing the pinky on the 9th fret of the G string, and the middle finger will be on the B string at the 8th fret, just like this. It'll be counted 1 and, just like this. The first time I'm just picking 2 strings. On the upbeat, I'm picking all 4 strings, like this. Counted 1 and. What I'm doing is I'm playing an E5 power chord, and once these 2 fingers go down, it now becomes an E minor chord. After I play that, the only upward picking motion I'm going to use here is on the open A string on the 2 beat, just like this. 2. Then we'll shift down to the 3rd fret. Notice the first finger is still on the A string. You'll do a C5 power chord. You're going to pick this on the and beat after 2. So this is what you're going to have to start the 2nd measure. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Okay. And then you're going to pick that C5 power chord again on 4 with a downward picking motion. You're going to let that ring out for an 1/8 of a beat. Then you're going to once again hit the open E and A strings with 2 16th notes, palm muted downwards. As you're doing that, you're going to move your fingers back to the G5 to start the riff pattern over again. Let's play through this thing a couple times just to make sure you understand what's going on. Here's a 4 count lead in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4 and. Lastly, this riff carries on for quite some time, just like the bass, right up until the point where you're going to do the bridge of the song. What's going to happen there is the bass is going to do a slide on 4, which signals the drummer to change. The drummer is going to fill, then the guitar is going to change to the bridge of the song. What you won't do there is you won't hit those two strings open. You'll just let the last C5 power chord you pick down on 4 ring out for the full quarter beat before going into the bridge of the song. I don't know how many times this plays before the change. Let's just shorten it to 2. On the second pass, I'll let it ring out. And we'll pretend that we're going into the bridge of the song. Here's a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4. One of the guitar parts will start the song unaccompanied before the bass and drums fill and signal the rest of the band to enter the song. What you're going to hear right before the guitar starts playing is this. Just like that. What I did there was I laid my finger across all 6 strings and picked it downwards to produce a clicking noise. This is what you call a ghost note because it's just noise. There's no definitive musical note there. Just clicks, just like this. I'm not fretting the strings so they sound. I'm just deadening them. And on the second beat there, what I did was I picked upwards on the highest pitch 2 or 3 strings of the guitar. And I took my hand off it to let them ring out just like this. Just for a split second, an eighth of a measure actually. Just like this. That's actually counted and a. If we gave a 4 count lead in, this is how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you'll go into the guitar riff. Let's do that one time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 4.